Think you were going to get that Friday feeling, Toon fans? Well, Friday night under the lights at St James's Park, Aston Villa, potential to ruin the weekend. Yes, another big game for us, another huge game. Relegation 6-pointer. That's a term that I'm using more and more often now, which is sad but awfully true. Big game for us, not so much for Aston Villa. I think Aston Villa are sitting sort of tight at the moment. They'll probably play with a little bit more freedom. It's a one where things need to improve after Sunday's game against West Brom. I'm not one of these who's going to buy in. As I said on my match review for the West Brom game last week, I'm not going to buy into the fact that that West Brom performance was a good point for us. We were playing West fucking Brom, one of the worst teams in the division with Sheffield United, and we created next to no chances. There was no intensity, and pretty much they had the better of the second half, and it's just not good enough. It was absolutely shite for me from start to finish. Yes, we might have had a good spell in the first 10 minutes where we had a couple of chances, Fraser and whatnot, but generally absolutely dreadful. We've got a manager at the moment who has won 2 games in 18. I saw Chris Wilder has been sacked this morning. First thing I saw when Chris Wilder was sacked, a bloke who's done wonders for them. Yes, he's had an awful season this year, but generally done absolute wonders for their football club. How are we still sitting tight as a much bigger team than Sheffield United? I think it's fair to say with regards to how much we've been in the Premier League, whatever you want to base size of club on, I think that would be a fair comment. How we are still sitting here with a manager fighting relegation trouble who has won 2 games in 18, has had fallen outs with players, has had some of the worst press conferences I can ever recall, bar maybe Joe Kinnear, and he's got no risk of losing his job at the moment. It seems the papers seem to be reporting. I mean, just do us all a favour, Stephen, get out of our football club and hopefully that might seem to stay up. But yeah, things can't get any worse at the moment. I think for us, injuries, poor style of football, poor intensity. Aston Villa tonight is another massive game. Aston Villa without Jack Grealish, which I don't like to focus too much on other teams and other teams' players, but that is huge news for us. I don't care what anyone says. Aston Villa the last 2 or 3 weeks without Jack Grealish have looked a different side. Very much a different side. He's their main outlet, even for the free kicks he wins with fouls, creativity, things he can do with the football. He's, for me, if not, God, I'd probably sit up there with Phil Foden. I know Mount's having a good season. He's one of the best English midfielders in the game, and he needs to start at the Euros for me if he's fully fit for England. But without him, they have looked a different side. No outball, lacking a little bit of ideas. So that's a bonus for us, and that's a huge, huge boost. I mean, they were beating off Sheffield United recently, which says everything about where Aston Villa have dropped since Grealish has fallen out of the team. So it's an opportunity there, a one we should try and take advantage of, because I know we've got Brighton next week, which is another 6-pointer. That's all I fucking say. But huge match, and injury news and team news going into the game. There's not too much to report, I don't think. Fernandes, as Bruce keeps saying every week, is training well and fit. And I don't want to sound too much of a stuck record on these match previews, as I have done for 3 weeks now. But if Fernandes is fit, put him in the team. It's as simple as that, Steve. He's one of our best players. You keep saying he's training well. How long does this bloke have to train before he can get into the match squad? So Fernandes has to start for me. It's turning into a bit of a debate who starts at centre-back for us if every defender is fit. So who I would go for would be, for me, Clark and Fernandes. Clark never has a bad game. I got in an interesting debate on Facebook today with a gentleman who believes that Clark should be dropped and Lascelles should play with Fernandes. I was a bit gobsmacked to hear that. Clark's, if someone in the comments can tell me a bad game that Clark has had for us in recent times, then I will remember it, listen to it, and try and sympathise and sort of see that point of view. But for me, he's always solid, and he's even a threat at the other end. When we have a corner, I always feel like Clark he's got that instinct of winning a ball from a corner. So that's an added bonus for a defender as well. So for me, it's got to be Clark and Fernandes to start. Dummett, I would leave Dummett in the team. Yes, he's like Marmite for Newcastle fans. He's probably the most old-fashioned defender you will ever find. Lumping the ball forward at every opportunity. He offers us nothing really going forward massively, but He's so reliable in the 18-yard box. He's always switched on. He's got the aggression in the tackle, and he's not scared to just get rid of it. And how many defenders in the modern game now are just so not willing to get rid of the ball? They try and pass it out. They look for the pass. It's not, when you're in the sort of relegation scrap we are, I think defensively we need the Paul Dummets to come in. And Lewis, for me, yes, you lose a bit of an attacking side with Paul Dummett, but what's Lewis offered going forward? I'd love to see the stats from crosses or even second pass to an assist that Lewis has contributed for us this season, because it cannot be high. He cannot cross a ball for shit. His aggression in the tackle's not good enough for me. He doesn't stay switched on enough. And for me, Dummett has to play. And let's not forget, Dummett's not a left back by trade. He's a centre back. So, it's not a position he's going to claim that's ever come natural to him, but he doesn't put much of a foot wrong defensively, and I think that's why I would have him in the team. I think right back will probably pick itself in Kraft. I don't think Manquillo's fit enough to come back, and I think Bruce is done now with playing wing back, so I don't think Murphy's an option there anymore. Midfield, Steve Bruce in his press conference this week was talking about Willock playing deeper because he's given him something to think about there. No, Steve, you've got so many things wrong as Newcastle manager. I don't like you as a bloke. But Willock, since he's come into this football club, has offered us a central attacking midfielder who makes runs into the box, and we don't currently have that. And he needs to play. He needs to play in that attacking position. Have Hayden do what we all know Hayden's good at, sitting defensively. Shelvey will probably sit deeper. We always need to see more from Shelvey, but he will sit deeper with Hayden, no doubt, like he always does. Willock is the man who can add us a little bit more in that 18-yard box when we do eventually get up the field that we don't currently have, and he's already done that. Yes, his performances have dropped off, but do not play Willock deeper. That is the last thing we need. If we are going to get out of relegation, we need to create chances and score goals, Steve. We've got players for the defensive side of things. You've got the Longstaff brothers that you could sit in there if you really needed to. Don't make Willock a defensive player, for God's sake. So, yeah, Willock for me, I would play Hayden and Shelvey because, I'm not going to get into the Shelvey debate. He will probably play. Hayden and Shelvey sitting in front, Willock in front of them, and then I would play a front three in front of Willock. Fraser's going to start. He looked bright enough on Sunday in a terrible game, so I think I would play Fraser. Gale, again, I'm going to sound like a stuck record compared to my other videos. Gale has to play for me because he knows where the goal is. Joe Linton got all of our chances on Sunday against West Brom. If that's going to keep happening, we will get relegated because he cannot hit a barn door. The chance when he cut across trying to pass it instead of just shooting, Gale would have leathered that. I'm not saying Gale would have scored, we don't know that, but he would have leathered the ball past the keeper's far post. So he has to play. The right side of a three is up for debate. Do you bring Carroll in? And maybe, I don't like to play Gale in a wide position because that's not where he plays, and I don't think you see much of him. Maybe give Murphy a go. I've talked about Murphy being a fringe player for us this season and not looking great when he's starting, but he's direct. You cannot say it. That's one thing you can only say about Murphy. You cannot deny it. When he gets the ball, he runs at his man, and his final product's not always there, but there's a bit of creativity there, and there's a willingness to get at his fullback. So maybe I'd give Murphy a start there because we trying other things and they aren't working. I think we can forget about Steve changing formation. That doesn't happen. He's not going to do that. I think that's generally the team. Whether Andy Carroll comes in, that's another debate for another day. I personally think Andy Carroll's a bit past it now. He had one good game against Arsenal in the FA Cup. Didn't do much after that when he stayed in the team, and then he's never been seen pretty much since. Getting 20 seconds against West Brom on Sunday. Great tactical decision from Steve. It's not as if we were defending a 1-0 lead or anything, but whatever. Am I confident for tonight's game? No. I'm sick of pretending to be maybe optimistic on some of these videos because I hate to sound negative every time I do a match preview, but I'm not. We've won 2 in 18 games. We played awful against one of the worst teams in the league on Sunday. All of our best attacking players are out. So no, I'm not. So if I was to go for score predictions, I would go for a draw. I'm going to go for a score draw, ones each. I don't think it's going to be a game that has many chances. There's an argument that it's got 0-0 goalless draw written all over it because Aston Villa being without Jack Grealish and us being without all of our main forward line. But we'll see. I always hope that we are surprised, and it's difficult not to have that optimism as a football fan. You wake up, you're not expecting very much, but you've always got that imagine if. Even with Steve Bruce at the helm, you still sometimes think they might surprise us. And the sun's shining, it's a Friday morning. Let's hope they do. Because how nice would it be, Newcastle fans? How nice would it be if we could go into the weekend, Fulham have Man City away tomorrow, which is a game you would assume, and I'm touching wood, that they lose. How nice would it be if we went in with a win to say, come on then, Fulham, we've got a game in hand on you anyway. Let's see what you can do against Man City. Now the pressure's on you. We have got an opportunity tonight to put pressure on the teams around us by being the first team to pick up a result and pull away a little bit. I say we've got an opportunity. That's a big thing. Whether we take advantage of that opportunity is mine, yours, Steve Bruce's guess. And again, I'm not going to hold my breath because I could be a dead man if I did. But we'll see. So I'm going to go for score draw. Let me know in the comments what your score prediction is for tonight. Oh, God, I've got no nails thinking about it. I had a Facebook memory today pop up from 2009. I updated my status when I was 17 saying, genuinely can't look at the Premier League table right now. I am so worried, with a sad emoji. That was the year we got relegated. Fast forward 11 years and I am thinking exactly the same thing. If that doesn't sum up Mike Ashley at the helm, then nothing will. The fact that 11 years ago I'm getting Facebook flashbacks of putting statuses about being worried about relegation trouble. This is the Mike Ashley era we're talking about here. It's awful. There's some Newcastle fans who've only ever known Mike Ashley in charge. I'm lucky enough to be able to remember well enough the Bobby Robson days, or even the Glenn Roeder days when he got us into that Intertoto Cup. God rest his soul now. Intertoto Cup position. Better days, just slightly better days. The season, yes, we had the season under Pardew when we finished fifth, which was an incredible season. But apart from that, the Ashley regime has been awful. It's just deja vu. And I'm seeing so many similarities between this season and the season we got relegated in 2008. The falling outs with players, the hatred towards the manager, the owner, we don't even know where he is. He's in Miami one minute, he's in Saudi. Probably not even watching our games anymore, which is why Bruce has still got a job. Injuries to players at key times. It's just, if I feel like, I can't help but feel we are just doing a slow walk to our last meal before death and relegation. So that was a funny Facebook memory I got today. But I'm going to stay open-minded that they might surprise us like they have a couple of times in the past couple of months. I say a couple, 2 wins in 18 being a couple. And we'll see. It could potentially get an even harder if we lose tonight and Fulham somehow pick up a result at Man City tomorrow. Other teams around us might pick up results. It looks even worse. Brighton next week. But let's try and stay optimistic, only because it's Friday and the sun's shining. And I'll catch up with you for the match review and hopefully be 3 points or even just a point better off by then. Please like and subscribe to Black and White Banter. Get us on Facebook and Instagram as well under the same name. I've just started this week a competition to give away an authentic 95-97 Newcastle home shirt, our greatest ever. All you've got to do is follow, share and do a couple of other things. So if you go onto our Instagram and Facebook pages, get on that competition. The winner's going to be decided at the end of the month. And I'll speak to you soon. Fingers crossed, Toon fans.